Grime Time.
With Britain's most compelling commentator, a very good friend of mine, the star of Reasoned UK, a popular Conservative channel on YouTube. It's Darren Grimes. Hi, Darren.
Hi, Mark.
Good to have you on the show. Tell me about the rather top and influential politicians who are saying no to woke parliamentary courses.
Yes, I mean, I don't want to put Talk Radio's sound listeners off their dinners tonight, Mark, but I'm at risk of doing so with this one because I'm talking about the sort of the potential sexual prowess of Lord Heseltine and others, where according to
Do you mean Tarzan? That was his nickname in the 80s,
well,
of course.
Yeah, back in the day, Mark.
Because he had
88 or something like that.
Yeah, but he's still got it. He's still got it, Darren.
He's got a full head of hair. He's got a fantastic head of hair.
He's got this mane of blonde hair, which is why people likened him to Tarzan. And can I be inappropriate at this moment in time, Darren, to say that I think he was the dishiest politician of the 80s?
Well, maybe, potentially. And I mean, he certainly thought he was, Mark, given the size of his ego. But according to the Times, a group of peers, including Lord Heseltine, have rebelled against this anti-bullying, discrimination and sexual harassment workshop for the House of Lords by just not attending them, right? But there are reasons why they haven't attended them. They're called these Valuing Everyone workshops, which just sounds to me like whoever is organising them is rubbing their hands with glee all the way to the bank, Mark, because these are just ridiculous. We know as human beings, I just sort of have an instinct as to what is and isn't acceptable in the workplace. And I think that goes for most people, actually. But these have become mandatory anyway in Parliament at the end of last year. And over apparently 60 peers have been threatened with sanctions by the House of Lords authorities for failing to attend these sessions by the beginning of April, I think. And among those is Baroness Betty Boothroyd, the former Commons Speaker.
One of the most effective speakers in the history of the Commons.
Phenomenal, exactly. And I think a sort of shining example to women everywhere up and down the country. No nonsense, fantastic.
Working class background, very humble origins, reached the very upper echelons of public life.
Exactly. Much more, well, I would have had her every single day of the week over John Bercow, let me say that.
Disaster.
But recently, she's basically been put through hell because she's undergone heart surgery. And Lord Heseltine, who I don't normally defend, Mark, was recovering from a knee operation. So we as taxpayers, right, are expected to pay for these firms, these whackery and wokery, or quackery even.
Yeah. These
firms that are pushing this stuff. And apparently we spent this is from the Times as well, we spent £885,000 on 2-hour sessions for MPs and peers, according to various reports. That, to me, Mark, at a time when with these same parliamentarians, let's not forget, have propelled the country into financial and mental misery through the lockdown strategy, I think that's a disgusting abuse of taxpayer cash. I really, really do. And the idea that someone like Lord Heseltine or Betty Boothroyd need sexual harassment training at their age, this is cartoon.
Well, it's beyond parody, isn't it? But we've seen also MPs in the Commons refuse to go on some of these woke courses, and they've had a bit of heat from the press about it. But I think there is something very dangerous and insidious about making people go on courses to cure something that they don't have.
Yeah, exactly. That gets into the sort of territory of unconscious bias training, doesn't it? Where, you might not, you yourself harbour any racist views, but there might be some, I don't know, something inside of you inherently that is bad, and we must find out what that is. And you make up anything on the hoof. This is total.
Well, I think it was. Do you remember when Ben Bradshaw? I think it was.
Yeah.
I think is he a defence minister in the government, and he just said, "No, I'm not going on one of these awareness courses."
Vice chair of the Tory party.
There you go. And that was a good moment. I mean, we have checks and balances. If someone is guilty of harassment of any description, well, then those people should be brought to account and they should face justice. So, across the board in our society now, we're creating these mechanisms when the law does a perfectly good job.
Exactly. But that's what I always say, Mark, whenever the government or anyone else says, well, what we really need is more hate crime laws, more legislation, more this, that and the other, when actually we've got a perfectly adequate law book, statute book, as it happens right now, That's already illegal, these sorts of things. So therefore, why do we need more laws and just wasting time of parliamentarians who I think waste far too much taxpayer time and resources already, Mark?
And also we have as a society a way and a community as well, Darren, of policing these things. It's a taboo in this country to be racist. Now, there are racist people, too many, and it must be dealt with. But it is a taboo. Can we agree that?
Totally.
You just can't go round just willy-nilly being a racist person.
No.
It's a taboo. Drink driving is a taboo. Murder is a taboo. You name it. And therefore, that sort of compact, that contract that communities have with each other is the best way to police these things. In honest abuse, you will suffer from the other fans who will say, stop saying those things.
Yeah, it's true. It's very true. And I think that's the really patronising element of all of this, Mark, which is it suggests actually that we are too stupid to know what's good for us. We are too stupid to not be able to, I don't know, sexually harass someone, be verbally awful or even racist to someone without these quacks coming forward with their new classes and teaching us how to behave. It really is just cartoon, and I know I've said this already, but I strongly really do believe that it's such an abuse of taxpayer money.
Well, it's unnecessary, clearly, but I worry that it's counterproductive, Darren, and that's my biggest concern.